Yes? Go? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hi there, far away. Good morning. Boy, does this room, don't touch your orange juice. It looks so beautiful with the tulips. Whoever set up the room, you get an A+ and a week's vacation. It looks great. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the Mayor and Business Leaders Breakfast. I'd like to begin by thanking the Business Council for continuing to help cities allow enterprises to flourish as a force of public good. I'd like to thank Target Corporation and Starbucks Coffee that I just had this morning for sponsoring this morning's breakfast. Yay, Starbucks and Target, thank you. And now I'd like to ask our wonderful CEO and longtime friend, Executive Director Tom Cochran, to provide a few remarks. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Mayor Goodman, and thank you for your leadership of this Business Council. And you have gone through some challenges with your health, and we're just so happy that you're here, alive and well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also, I want to recognize another Goodman in the house, Oscar Goodman. We have a situation here where Oscar served 12 years, and she served 12 years, but they changed the election, and now she gets another year, so she's going to break Oscar's record. So that's 26 years of public service.
A quarter of a century of Goodmans. Can you imagine that? Can anybody stand it? No.
I want to thank all the members of the Business Council for the support that they provide to the conference and to the mayors. And we look forward to work with you and throughout the year as we continue to strengthen public-private partnerships. When Washington doesn't seem to get it together, what's happening in America really is because of you, the business community, working with the mayors. We want to recognize and thank 8 Platinum partners. As you know, Platinum is stronger than silver and gold, and they are American Beverage Association, American Management Services, Globetrotter Management Services, Inc., Major League Baseball, Nationwide, Signify, Walmart, and Wells Fargo. There are 23 companies that have been involved in supporting this Business Council for more than 15 years. We want to thank all of you for your strong and long-lasting support. Stay with us, and we're going to continue to be stronger than ever. We have 145 members in the Business Council representing industry sectors from A to Z. Since our meeting in Hawaii and Honolulu, we have 17 new Business Council members. And I want to ask you to stand if present. Aero Wireless Group, BYD Motors, Central Square Technologies, City Health, Commonwealth Edison Company, Cruise LLC, Darden Restaurants, Descartes Labs, Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, Motley Rice LLC, Oracle, Reef Technology, Siemens Corporation, Home Depot, Recycling Partnership, Tyler Technologies, and Ubiqua. Also, so thank you very much for joining, and stay with us. Our next stop is Austin, Texas. Several years ago, Doug Palmer, former mayor, former president, Trenton, came, and he and Ms. Pepper came up with the idea of doing a best practice report. And I'm pleased to say that we will be doing it again. We released our report at the 87th annual meeting in Honolulu, and we will be releasing again. And even though we have 36 best practices in this booklet, we want more. So the next couple of months, Judy Reed of the Business Council staff will reach out to you. We want more of you to submit your best practice to include in our 2020 report that we'll be releasing in Austin, Texas. And now I'd like to call on our steering committee chairs for brief remarks. Javier Angulo from Walmart, and also he will come forth for brief remarks, and we will also then have our other steering committee chair too. So, Javier, could you come up, please?
Good morning. Great. Glad to hear everybody is having a good morning, and you guys all look fabulous. On behalf of the U.S. Conference of Mayors Business Council, I'd like to thank our fearless leader, the chair of the Mayors Business Council, Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman. Thank you for your support and leadership in keeping the Business Council's interest in mind as policy is shaped in the conference. Also, thank you, Tom, and the entire council staff, including Judy and Jerry, for the attention and guidance you provide to all members of the Business Council. I would also like to thank all the new and renewing members of the Business Council. Your voice is needed to meet the Council's goal of improving the business environment in America's cities. Certainly for Walmart, we have found value in our engagement with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Over the past couple of years, we have been able to work with mayors and the staff to support initiatives that seek to improve cities' livability and the economy. Most recently, we supported the U.S. Manufacturing Innovation Fund to provide grants to innovators in the manufacturing sector and create new processes, ideas, and jobs to support America. We also continue to support the U.S. Conference of Mayors Climate Protection Awards, as well as being a founding supporter of the Center for Inclusive and Passionate Cities. I encourage every one of our Business Council members to reach out to the conference staff to find ways to innovatively partner with the Conference of Mayors. Once again, thank you to all the members of the Business Council. For those who are not members, I highly encourage you to consider becoming a member. In my humble opinion, this is the best and only opportunity to build partnership with the city CEOs, the mayors, to make our cities and nation economically stronger for the benefit of all. Thank you.
Well, thank Walmart one more time because of the work that they give us on climate, but also they have been helping us with our Compassionate Center that we released, that we started in Montgomery, Alabama last year. Okay, Eugene Anderson, another co-chair from Suez. Eugene, please come forward.
Good morning, USCM. Wait a minute. We got to do that again. Good morning, USCM. All right. I made sure everybody got in safely last night. I stood by the door watching you all come in. Thank you for coming back so early. That one that came back at 3:30, I had to stay up a little later for you to get in. I am honored to be on this stage this morning representing my company, Suez. Suez is one of the leading environmental companies, not only in the United States, but across the world. We have more than 90,000 employees that work in the water space. Suez has been a longtime partner of USCM, and we are proud to be a founding member of the USCM Water Council, and certainly enjoy our opportunities to share information about one of our most precious resources, water. I want to take this opportunity, going second, Javier gets an opportunity to do all of the stuff first, but I want to thank the USCM staff, and in particular, we work with the steering committee and the business council work with two individuals who make our lives very easy. And so I want to give a special thanks to two awesome ladies, Jerry and Judy, for your help and your support in making our lives better. I also would like to take the opportunity, because this is the Business Partners Breakfast, to ask that all of my fellow Business Council members, if you would just either stand or raise your hand so that you can be recognized this morning. And finally, I would simply say, be sure to use us, your business partners, because it's a partnership to help you make your city the best city that it possibly can be, and for us to help you bring quality of life to all of your residents. Thank you, and have a good conference.
I'd like to ask all the steering committee members to please stand. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to Mayor Turner, who's here with us from Houston this morning, this early morning. Thank you for being here. Also, say hello to the Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, who is our first winter meeting. Let's give her a big hand of applause for being with us. She will be chairing a special session, unfortunately, on mass shootings tomorrow, and we're so pleased to have her involved with us, and we're so pleased to have all of you involved with us. Let's keep going, and thank you so much for your support to the one and only United States Conference of Mayors. Thank you. Mayor Goodman, come back out.
Tom, thank you again for all the work you and your team did this year for putting together this wonderful conference. We're all so happy to be part of it. And thank you, Javier and Eugene, for the leadership and service on the Mayor's Business Council Steering Committee. At this time, I want to introduce LaShaw Ward from the Target Corporation. LaShaw began her career with Target in 1991 as a member of the store's sales and management team of Marshall Fields in Chicago. LaShaw now serves as Executive Vice President and Chief External Engagement Officer at Target, overseeing Target's enterprise-wide approach to engage and deepen relationships with external stakeholders to drive positive business and community impact. So please join me in a warm welcome for LaShaw Ward.
Thank you, Mayor Goodman, and good morning. Oh, that was very good. Kind of felt like a black church moment, so I'm feeling right at home. My name is LaShaw Ward, and on behalf of everyone at Target, or Target, as I know many of you like to say, I want to begin by thanking all of you for your commitment to public service. As you know, Target is headquartered in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Yes, in the great state of Minnesota. So I want to give a special shout out to all of the mayors from Minnesota who are here today. And as you could tell, we are all together, and they are raising the roof. With almost 1,900 stores and distribution centers, Target spans the country, from small towns to major cities, including here in the district, where we went from 1 store to 5 in 2019. That's right, worth clapping for. And also worth clapping for is Mayor Bowser. So thanks to her support, we continue to grow in this important market. Wherever we are, Target is committed to putting the needs of people, communities, and the planet at the heart of how we work. And we've rallied our team, which is what we call our employees, around a common purpose: to help all families discover the joy of everyday life. We realize that we can't fulfill this promise without you, other elected officials, and community leaders working together to meet the needs of the people who live and work in your cities and towns. At Target, our team is our secret sauce, and we know that talented, diverse, and high-performing team members will position us to win in this intensely competitive environment. And that's why I'm proud that we've continued to raise our minimum wage, and we're committed to paying a minimum wage of $15 an hour by the end of this year nationwide. Thank you. In addition to the significant wage increase, we're also providing ongoing leadership and development skills and training for our team. And as you heard Mayor Goodman say, I was one of those team members who started out in our stores in an hourly job, and I've been able to make an incredible career. So it's really wonderful to see us continue to work on ongoing development and career opportunities that are equitable. Whether we're introducing new brands or new fulfillment options, we're trying to meet the needs of today's consumers by modernizing every dimension of our company. That includes reimagining and remodeling 300 stores around the country this year alone, as well as opening small format stores that allow us to serve dense urban and suburban neighborhoods. We've opened them in places like right here in the district, as well as in New York, in Chicago, Philly, Denver, LA, and very soon on the Strip in Las Vegas, along with college campuses in Durham, Cincinnati, Austin, and several other cities. We currently have more than 100 of these small format stores around the country, with more in the pipeline. Our aim is to not just build a store in a neighborhood, but with a neighborhood. And there's a difference. We're focused on listening, learning, and co-creating with local residents to better meet the needs of their community. Let's take a look.
A small format store is really the best of Target curated for a neighborhood. Everyone is different, the layout is different, the stores look different, the assortments are different, just based on the need of that guest.
I think guests love that it's right in their neighborhood. The location is number one for them. They can just do their Target run any day of the week. It makes it super simple.
Our small formats are about a third of the size. They're located in dense urban areas, college campuses, dense suburban areas where we couldn't fit a full-size store. So if you're in a neighborhood where there's a lot of families, you're gonna see more kids apparel, you're gonna see more toys.
Our community is a very big Spanish community, so that goes into everything we've done. Not only will you see the signs in English, you'll see the signs in Spanish. I think that was very, very inviting and welcoming to everyone in the community.
It's such an intimate environment that you know people by name. In a smaller format store, you definitely create a bond with your guests because you see the same faces over and over.
For the first 30 days of being open, we were diligent about asking our guests for feedback. And guests were saying we didn't have enough urban, ethnic items such as dolls or hair care products. We got in and we got that change for our guests. We listened to our guests and we're now able to evolve as a store and be what the guests are looking for us to be.
We don't just offer convenience, but we offer inspiration as well in every location, which makes it uniquely Target. Growing small formats allows us to add more locations for guests to do that and enjoy what Target can bring.
Yeah. Our small format stores, I think, demonstrate the power of local partnerships and collaboration with elected officials, business, community leaders, and residents working together in cities across America. You know, at a time when our country often feels more divided than united, we need you, our mayors, more than ever. So I want to thank you for being on the front line day after day, for having courageous conversations, for listening to divergent points of view, and for working hard to find common ground and common sense solutions. Through partnerships and collaborations, we can move our local communities and, I believe, our country forward by offering equitable opportunity, hope, and progress for all. So once again, thank you for your service, and I look forward to continuing to meet and engage with you not only here at the conference, but in your cities all across the country. Thanks.
I'm going to get it right this time. Thank you, Leisha. My script said LaSha, so you need to pronounce people's names the way their parents gave them to them. So Leisha, thank you very much. We appreciate all that you do and the exciting news you gave us. I'd like now to introduce Zalima Espinel from the Starbucks Company. As I mentioned, I just had one and I know how good they are. And I have to tell you, Zulema Espinel serves as Vice President for Global Public Policy and Government Affairs. Prior to joining Starbucks, Ms. Espinel spent a decade serving in various roles for the U.S. government. And most recently, she served as Special Assistant to the President and Associate White House Counsel for the Obama administration. Please join me in welcoming wonderful Zulema Espinel.
Good morning. It is a privilege to be here with all of you today. Every day, each of you works hard to represent the rich and diverse communities you serve. In our own way, in our stores, we strive to create a sense of community, a place where everyone who walks in the door feels welcome. But to create that sense of a third place, a place where everyone feels that they belong, we have to focus on trying to serve our communities. That starts with our partners. Everyone, all of us who work at Starbucks are partners, and we have 180,000 partners who wear the green apron across the US. That means trying to provide industry-leading benefits. That includes free college tuition, no strings attached. We have 14,000 partners enrolled in our college achievement program and 4,000 graduates. It means providing paid leave, paid sick time, comprehensive health care. It's why we strive every year to have pay equity for all men and women and all individuals of all races in the US, 100% pay equity. And it is why we have a new focus for our partners on mental health. But serving our communities also means harnessing the rich talent that you see in your neighborhoods every day. We have 30,000 military veterans and spouses working at Starbucks. We are on our way to hiring 100,000 opportunity youth, young people between 18 and 25 who are not in work and not in school. And we are proud of our DACA partners who wear the green apron. Taking care of our communities also means taking care of the planet we share. This week, we announced an ambitious goal to become resource positive. That means storing more carbon than we emit. That means eliminating waste and providing more fresh, clean water than we use. Last year, we were proud to share with you our first ever civil rights audit. This work is not easy, and we very much look forward to your thoughts as we shortly publish an update, showing the substantive progress we have made, including a new chief diversity officer and new diversity goals, new trainings, and the goals that we still hold to become an even more inclusive company. This work is fundamental, and it's an ongoing muscle that needs to be exercised if we are truly going to create the kind of culture that can make welcoming public spaces something that is so deeply needed at this time. We also understand that means trying to create local economic impacts. Last week, we announced that we will be opening 100 new community stores in underserved neighborhoods across the US. These stores are specifically designed to create local economic impacts and to provide locally economic resources in partnership with United Way, such as skills-based training or mentoring. Our mission is to nurture and inspire the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. With your counsel and partnership, we will never stop striving to create communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Again, exciting news and wonderful for our communities. We're thrilled. And now I'm going to turn the podium over to Chip Rogers, President and CEO of the American Hotel and Lodging Association, who's going to lead the discussion on a very important topic for everyone in this room, eliminating human trafficking. The hotel industry has never shied away from tackling the toughest issues, and this one is no different. Under Chip's leadership, AHLA has embarked on a No Room for Trafficking campaign, an initiative that not only recognizes the strides made by major brands and companies, but furthers that commitment by aiming to train 100% of hotel employees. No industry is immune to this egregious crime, and today conversation is an important step to acknowledging what can be done in cities like mine to eradicate human trafficking. I'm pleased to be participating today to share what we're doing in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Mayor Goodman. It is wonderful to be here with you this morning. This is not an easy topic, and we're going to be discussing it over the next 20 minutes, according to my clock here. But it is something that we absolutely must address. I think about all of the issues that we debate in this country, and it's strange because things that 10 years ago you would think, well, that's a nonpartisan issue. It seems like everything has become a partisan issue, and I appreciate the work that you do because I know on a daily basis you're working on issues that are just helping meet people's needs. And this is one of those issues that I would hope universally, no matter what party you're in, what part of the country you're in, where you came from, that we can all agree that in the 21st century in the United States of America, the fact that human trafficking still exists is a shame. And it is something that we can do something about if we're willing to address it. Now, speaking on behalf of our industry, I think probably if you go back 4 or 5 years ago, we knew human trafficking was out there. That's obvious. It's in the news every day. By the way, it affects 40 million people worldwide. This is, some estimate, the second biggest criminal enterprise in the entire world. But we kind of knew it was out there. But I think a lot of people, when they see something that is this ugly and this dirty and it impacts children in this way, that they say to themselves, well, I really don't want to talk about that. I don't want to deal with that, and maybe that'll just go away. Well, it's not going to go away unless we do something about it. It's not going to go away unless we shine a very bright light like these right here on it and let people know that it is happening and we can stop it. So what our industry has done is we've created this campaign called No Room for Trafficking. Now, this is a unique campaign because typically when you have campaigns, you have like a goal that you can reach and you have a time period in which to reach that goal. Well, this particular campaign, we have a goal that we will frankly never reach. And the reason we'll never reach it is because our goal is to train every single hotel employee in the United States to be able to identify the signs of human trafficking and then to know what to do with that information. But you see, we have tens of thousands of new employees coming into our industry every single year. So we've got to train them as well. So we know the training will never end, which means the campaign will never end. So we've started this campaign, and we want to show that in our industry we can lead. And we want to make sure that hotels are the last place on earth that a human trafficker is going to feel safe and feel comfortable. We want them to know that when they walk into a hotel, there will be people that are trained to see what they're doing. There will be people that understand the signs of human trafficking and then know who to contact. In this case, obviously, it's law enforcement. So we want to get there someday. We're off to a great start. We've trained in our industry well over 1 million people. Marriott and Hilton, 2 of the largest companies in the world, and certainly in our industry, the 2 largest. They themselves collectively have already trained over 1 million people. So we're well on our way to doing this. But again, it's never going to stop, and we need everybody to help us. So we're going to be coming to you, asking you to help us. We're actually going, I was talking to the mayor just a few minutes ago, and we'll bring him out, Mayor Turner, about the fact that we're a private industry enterprise. We represent the hotel industry, but we're actually going to states on an individual basis and asking for mandated training. That almost never happens in private industry, to ask somebody to mandate something on you, right? But we're doing that because we know that if we're going to get to 100% universal training, this is the only way to do it. We can't have a scenario where some hotels are doing it and other hotels are not doing it. We want it to be universal. So that's what we're doing in our industry. But these are partnerships. If we're going to tackle this, it can't just be the hotel industry. So we have a couple of mayors here today. Mayor Goodman, who is behind me, who is doing incredible work in her lovely city of Las Vegas, which she reminded me has 150,000 hotel rooms. And Mayor Sylvester Turner, who I'll ask to join us out here from the city of Houston, who's doing some incredible stuff as well. Appreciate it.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm
So
fine.
good to see you.
Good.
Good to see you.
So Mayor Turner, both of you have done amazing things, but I want to point out a recognition that you had recently. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo awarded Houston the Presidential Medal because specifically your actions and your municipal model for anti-trafficking initiatives. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's an initiative that we started back in April of 2016 when I came in. And let me start off by giving a great deal of credit to Mina Mattel Davis, who is my special advisor on human trafficking and has taken the initiative, so I want to give her a great deal of credit. But it is a very comprehensive response to human trafficking. We recognize that law enforcement is a vital component, but there are other opportunities. And so essentially we have worked to align all of our departments to assist law enforcement. We're working with different components outside of the city of Houston as well. And for example, with our health department, we've trained about 1,200 of our inspectors, food inspectors, to screen and refer, and that's been very, very helpful. We've initiated an executive order dealing with procurement, leveraging the city's resources and pushing those who are doing business with us to put in compliance development programs, and essentially saying if you're doing business with us, we expect for you to be joining us in this battle. That's been very, very helpful. And then we have worked with other organizations, placing psychologists and others at various hospitals to also screen people who are coming through that system, and that has worked very, very well. And then we've put on a very strong media campaign, working with our TNCs, our taxes, the metro system, and that has generated about 93 million impressions. So that's been very, very helpful. So it's been a comprehensive program. We've been known as the hub for human trafficking. And so we had to be very intentional in addressing the situation. And so far, so good, but it's just never done.
Right.
And it's a global phenomenon, not just a local one.
But we can lead, and you are leading, so I want to thank you for that. And you mentioned something I think that's interesting that oftentimes gets lost in this discussion, and that is the victims. We talk about how do we stop it, how do we go after kind of the bad guys and get rid of them, but when their crime has taken place, there's always a victim, and oftentimes we don't really know as a society what to do with these victims, but they certainly need our help, and so I appreciate the work you're doing there. Mayor Goodman, you're doing really interesting work in gathering the entire faith community behind this. And as I mentioned a moment ago, it's one of those rare issues where everybody agrees we've got to stop this. And so all of the faith community in Las Vegas is coming together. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's the Mayor's Faith Initiative as a leadership piece. We have about 120, 130 of our leaders, pastors, ministers, rabbis that are involved because they reach over 70,000 congregants, and each congregant can take the word back to the community. But we're also concentrating on the preventative element, which for every person that is caught in this terrible web, how can they reach out? How can they be safe? And what you're doing in the hotels is simply phenomenal to keep eyes open. Most of the hotels today are so big, they're like enormous ships, like the Disney cruises, 4,000, to say nothing of those who are coming in to have meals or go shopping or whatever they're doing. So to identify a young person or an older person who's being trafficked and watching, it's very difficult. I do remember 25 years ago, and it's been that long, since The Pretty Woman, and Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. So for those of you who don't know, it's a great movie. But it's what it sort of did, it glorified and gave young people, if I'm unhappy or I'm a foster child or I come out of a very bad home environment and I'm 12, 13, 14, male or female, I am looking, I can run away and I can support myself. The reality is when they arrive somewhere, they can't. Yeah. And so what happens then, they become this tragic individual. And we've done, I know you have other questions, so I'll stop there. But
keep preaching.
The faith, they're the hands in the earth. They are the most incredible group. They work with the city. They work with all private enterprise. They work with our law enforcement. And we gather frequently to have discussions to provide resources to those that are trying to help. I mean, it is the oldest profession in the world, we know, is prostitution. And there in Nevada, in Nye County, it is legal. And it is controlled health-wise. They're licensed, everything, and I'm not advocating, but as we get down the road and we look at all the states trying to figure out ways to control the violence in their communities, which all of us are doing all the time, and trying to come up with new remedies. It's a thought that I know my husband, when he was mayor, this was something we would discuss frequently, and he would talk about it. But when you look at the healthcare element and you look at the crime that's involved, not only for the pimp or the trafficker, certainly for the victim, but as I'm hopeful there's an opportunity to give you some other things that we're doing in Las Vegas, because I think it's quite remarkable, and many of the ideas of what we're doing comes directly from our grassroots people. And we find that the more we listen to others and the more we gather new groups together, the more information we're getting. But we are very much concerned about the preventative, and so we're in the schools, but I'll get to that later.
You know, and it's interesting, setting aside what's happening in the cities, what's happening in the hotels, just as parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles, keep in mind that human trafficking is not like that movie Taken, where someone is, walking down the road and they scoop up a 12-year-old or whatever. It's actually almost all of it now is happening through social media and online, where children are gaining access to others that they think are their friends, and they're being lured into this. And as you know, if they have a rough childhood, if they don't have a good family environment, if they don't have someone they can speak to, all of a sudden there's somebody online who can fill those voids, and that's how they get lured into this, and it's just such a tragic
Well, and too,
story.
if you look at the development of the human being, as you go through those early years, especially elementary school, you're sort of following along what you're being told to do. As adolescence comes, you become an individual with your own thoughts and ideas. And then you become powerful as you realize that I have my own ideas. My parent or parents aren't so smart. I'm the smart one. My friends tell me what to do, how to do it. Very important not to pick the wrong friends. And what happens, that's where the issues begin. And so developmentally, behaviorally, socially, psychologically, in every way. And that's the point where you really have to start working with one child at a time and go through trying to help them learn to make good choices in life and not pick bad friends. And all of that stream, all that behavioral development, psychological development, social development, that's where these, and exactly what you brought up, it's so impactful to the individual, gets trouble.
So Mayor Turner, there's that old adage that if it's everybody's job, it's nobody's job. And when you're tackling human trafficking, what you've done, I think, is quite unique. In your city, you've appointed an individual that this is your job, this is your task. And I think that is so important, because this is one of those challenges where everyone's asking questions like, how do we solve it? Who do I turn to? And if there's one person on your staff in your city that can turn to, it can make a big difference. So tell us about that.
And it's important, that particular person is important. It highlights the priority. But it's not just having that one person, it's where that person is in your administration. Mina, for example, reports directly to me. She's like a cabinet level position. And her responsibility is to align all 23 of our departments. She works very closely with HPD, and our police department understands that she is the point person. And then the other department directors understand that human trafficking is an important issue. And it's not just sex trafficking, but it's labor trafficking as well. And we're not just dealing with adults, but with respect to homelessness, the large percentage of our homeless youth get caught up into sex and labor trafficking, and especially those who are affiliated with the LGBTQ community. And so it's important to have that alignment, but it lets the people in the city of Houston know that it's important to me as the mayor of this city. And so that placement, that appointment signifies all of that. At the same time, when it comes to dealing with our entities, nonprofits and others outside of the city of Houston, they know this is an important issue because you cannot just do it with the resources that you have within your city,
Right.
but it has to be in tandem and collaboration with others. So we have what we call our 1010 domestic and international immersion programs, where we take the municipal response, the strategic strategies that we have put forth, and then we work in conjunction with other cities. Like 18 other cities have sent key representatives to the city of Houston on a 2-day conference that's been sponsored by Jones Day Law Firm, where we talk for 2 days
Right.
about how to tackle trafficking in a very holistic sense. And then we have the 1010 International, where we've invited cities from across the globe to come in 2-day, where we talk strategically how to address it comprehensively. Because it is a serious problem, it's constantly evolving, and we have to be creative and innovative on how to address it. But I'm really keen on the procurement policies and practices that we put in place, essentially leveraging the city's resources and our contracts with those who want to do business with us to push,
Right.
nudge them to developing their compliance development programs that will assist us as well. So, and then from an enforcement point of view, instead of just focusing on the prostitution of the victim aspect, we use our regulatory policing team to go and monitor many of the massage parlors and others to make sure that they are in compliance with our codes. And again, saying to them, we are taking this seriously, and we're looking more to the owners and the operators than to the victims. And then lastly, in terms of making sure that we assist the victims, we're working with the Salvation Army and our domestic violence shelters to provide those victims with temporary shelter and then to put them on a sustainable path for housing. So what we found is that it has to be comprehensive, and you have to be very intentional in order to address it. And you can never say you've gotten on top of it.
Right.
And then I do want to thank and applaud the hotel and motel industry, because being able to train and identify people who are coming into the hotels and the motels is a critical component as well.
From our perspective, it's what we can do best and how we can make our mark. But I think what you highlighted there is that if the hotel industry is the only one doing it, we're going to make a dent.
Right.
But this has got to be comprehensive. You've got to be working across the aisle. You've got to be working across industries. And we're hoping that by us standing up and saying we're not going to allow it in hotels, we're willing to take a mandate across the country so that we have every employee trained, that we can show other industries that you can do this. And we're already seeing this in the taxi cabs, the truckers, across the board. There's a lot of industries coming to the realization that collectively we can make a big difference. And I know, Mayor Goodman, we'll close on this because we're about out of time, but the reality is that no matter how well your city is doing on this particular issue, and you right now are the standard bearer, you've got to work with private industry, and I know that's what you do in Las Vegas.
Well, one of the most important pieces about 3 years ago as we were working in this particular subject area, which is really very important to all of us to try to eradicate it. We know that when you go inside the individual that's being trafficked, the fear of the trafficker, of what's going to happen to them. The stories are horrible. And so where is the opportunity to get your information to that individual? And so I was speaking at a faith initiative gathering 3 years ago. And fortunately for us, a very wealthy private individual was in the audience. And I said, you know, we need to be able, with the cell phones that we have, provide a phone number, the national hotline or any local number that we've provided. Where's the best place to do it? In the ladies' restrooms, because they can always find someone there who might have a cell phone. And every single women's restroom, and hopefully in the men's restroom, but sometimes the trafficker, who's usually a male, will accompany the male traffickee into the bathrooms. But on every door in every bathroom if you are being trafficked or if you are having problems, call this number, an immediate contact, because in there, in that restroom, may be their only chance for salvation. The other piece we did was we made a nominated Emmy Award film called Traffic No More, which we have 150,000 young people in middle and upper school, and every TV station in the entire state at the same time showed that film. And it was incredibly impactful, but again, trying to get the information preventatively to those young people or older people that are caught in this horrific situation, to give them a place of contact. It is one person, one at a time, that if we can help them, we've saved a life. And that's so important, because globally we're trying to do it, but this is an enormous problem. So to continue on with what you're doing and the training is absolutely incredible. And Mayor, many of the things that you are doing there have been inspirational to other cities, I'm sure. And I'm clicking off in my brain, have we done that? Have we done that? Have we done that? Because we don't stop. This is an absolute commitment. And hopefully everything always starts with yourself. And what are you doing? So then you can ask somebody else, I'm doing this, you need to help. And the key is that individual who's caught in that as you're driving along or walking through a hotel. So thank you for what you're
Chip,
doing.
The information for the strategic plan for the city of Houston is out on the table for those who may want to get that information.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you both for what you're doing. We need all of your help in conquering this.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
Mayor Goodman,
Thank
good
you.
to see you.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thanks.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you.
Boy, do I love technology. It's a get up, you stupid lady, and move to the podium. I'm kidding. Of course, it didn't say that. But I mean, that's what I thought. I was looking at the time. So anyway, Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher, our conference's vice president, has long been recognized both inside and outside our organization as a leader in efforts to make his city and all cities kinder, more compassionate, and more inclusive. He's here with us this morning to update us on the work of our Mayors and Business Leaders Center for Inclusive and Compassionate Cities. Its past, its present, and the plans for the year ahead, which ultimately could involve everyone in this room. So please join me in a wonderful warm welcome for Mayor Greg Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, good morning, everybody. As mayors, the pulpit of our office gives us an incredible opportunity and an incredible responsibility. We have the capacity to positively change the culture of the cities that we serve. And that was my goal when I became mayor of Louisville in 2011 and talked about compassion as a core value of our city and my administration. And we define compassion as an action word, the work we do with our residents to help their human potential flourish. That's something that I've been working on, and other mayors around the country have been working on as well. And some use different terminology, but the goal is the same: full human potential flourishing. In Louisville, we created the Give a Day Week of Service. It's an annual celebration of volunteerism. Over 215,000 volunteers showed up last year, and that breaks our world record for compassion that we held the year before. We've established an innovative program called the Compassionate Schools Project. Students learn mindfulness and compassion in many of our public elementary schools with extremely promising results for the in-school and out-of-school child. And when the CEO of a growing tech company decided to expand to our city after some fierce competition with other cities, many of yours, I'm sure, I asked him, why'd you choose Louisville? And he said, I love what you all are doing around compassion. So compassion is good for business, and it's good for our cities, especially with the rise in hate speech and hate crimes that we've seen over these last 3 years. After the violence in Charlottesville in 2017 that so starkly illustrated the dangers of a reinvigorated white supremacist movement, the Conference of Mayors and the Anti-Defamation League joined to produce a Mayor's Compact to combat hate extremism, and bigotry. The compact, aimed at promoting the fundamental principles of justice and equality that define our great country, was quickly endorsed by more than 325 mayors. That strong response led the conference to create the Mayors and Business Leaders Center for Inclusive and Compassionate Cities. The center serves as a focal point for sharing information and best practices on our work to reach the goals articulated in the compact, goals that have never been more important than they are today. Thanks to Walmart for their role in the planning of the center and the financing of its launch. Additional financial support comes from our friends at Coca-Cola and Comcast. And as a first step, the conference created a dedicated page on its website to report on the center activities. Mayors have an open invitation to submit information on their work to promote inclusiveness and compassion, and those will be shared through the website. So I encourage everybody to look at the center's webpage. You'll find it under programs on the USCM website. In addition to examples of best practices, you'll find information on resources available to help create and implement new policies and initiatives. Now, in this election year, we mayors have an even greater responsibility to use our secular pulpits to stand up against the rhetoric of hate that is unfortunately on the rise in our country. The conference will be reaching out in the months ahead to ask you to join a single focused nationwide initiative. One day, when cities across the nation will, in their own ways, take action to raise residents' awareness of the threats posed by bigotry and hatred in all of its forms. We want to engage the people of America's cities in events and activities that symbolize and demonstrate the inclusiveness and compassion we all work to foster at our city's levels. The planning for this day of action is underway. Let us know if you'd like to help. We hope everybody will participate, and we'll be keeping you posted on progress in selecting the date. The activities planned in different cities, along with efforts to engage partner organizations to support this effort. Again, this election year presents mayors with an incredible opportunity to stand up, speak out, and share our vision for an inclusive and compassionate future for America. It's never been more important, and folks, we need to start every conversation with the knowledge that we are all connected, and we have lost our way as a country right now. I think it's our responsibility, our opportunity, and our privilege to bring that back to our great country. Thank you all for your participation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen. We are now pleased to present a special video highlighting mayoral leadership on the 2020 census.
In Southeast Michigan and in Rochester Hills, it's generally all about roads. We're trying to fix them, we're trying to maintain them, we're trying to improve them, and the source for most of our road funding comes from the federal government.
So it's really important to us that we get everyone counted in Tacoma so that we can make sure that we're able to take care of everyone.
Our fight to end homelessness on the streets of Los Angeles comes from knowing how many people live in Los Angeles and being able to get community development block grant money, emergency shelter grants, and home dollars all help us house Angelenos and house Americans. But we get less money if we're not counted, and if everybody gets counted, we get the most.
It helps us as mayors know what the landscape of our city is, the diversity of our population.
It's really important that we get an accurate count because it brings us federal resources that we really need.
The last couple of census counts, we've lost representation in the United States Congress, and we want to make sure every single person's counted so that we can maybe add a seat and help us also in Boston by having greater representation at the State House.
The census data comes in handy in a great way, particularly when we're talking to our congressional delegation and folks on the Hill.
It is critically important to Cincinnati and to all cities to get it right, otherwise you miss out on millions and millions of dollars.
We've already formed the Elizabeth Count Committee through volunteers that's going to go door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, talk about the importance of the census.
And I'll be knocking on doors personally in our community, asking folks to participate so people understand that this is real and important and essential to the health of the city.
We have gathered a fantastic complete count committee where members of my administration are participating with community groups that are touching our residents all over the city in all 8 wards of the city and various constituencies. In March 2020, our job will be telling everybody to respond, respond, respond.
Thank you. I'd now like to invite our U.S. Conference of Mayors President Mayor Barnett to the stage, who will moderate and conclude the final part of this morning's program. Mayor Barnett.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
So good to see you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. You all right? Just checking to make sure you're okay. It was a long day yesterday, wasn't it? It's going to be longer today. I just want to make sure we got to keep the energy up in this room. I appreciate Mayor Goodman for your long time leadership of this business council, which has been really, really important to our organization. So grateful that you joined us for breakfast, and so thankful that you're here to support those folks that support us. You know, if you don't know Mayor Goodman, her and her husband, the previous mayor of Las Vegas, are truly a sort of mayoral royalty, and it's really a privilege to be with her and to have watched her and her husband lead the city of Las Vegas. Can we give them a big round of applause, if you don't mind? Mayor Goodman just won her last election by 83%, so the mayors in the room know that's a solid endorsement from the folks that matter, and so we appreciate her continued leadership. And I also want to thank Crown Castle, the sponsor of last night's opening reception. Did you enjoy that, everyone? Round of applause. Listen, if you don't clap for free drinks, really, what would you clap for? I mean, if you're not clapping for that. We appreciate Crown Castle and their support of our get-together last night. We've got a lot more opportunities to get together and a lot of fun and a lot of learning today, so we're really excited about that. And I'm excited about this next session, and I'm grateful that you're here because we're going to do something that we haven't done before, really, at least at the winter meeting. Thrilled to bring this new idea to the conference, and like I said, a chance to introduce something to you that's worked really well in my hometown, and really is in lockstep with the conference's focus on compassion, of which Mayor Fisher just spoke. This program is called 100 Mayors Who Care, and I launched this idea in a smaller scale with success at the fall leadership meeting in Rochester Hills and in the city of Detroit. It's modeled after a program in my community called 100 Women Who Care, and that group in my city of just 75,000 people just surpassed over $500,000 in donations to deserving nonprofits. Now, 100 Mayors Who Care is a way for mayors to give back, and really everyone in the room, to the cities in which we visit, in which we meet. So at meetings like this, where we typically fly in, drive in, some of you, enjoy the best food, enjoy the best drinks, enjoy the best experiences that a city has to offer, and meet with generally the most connected, and then we fly out. That's sort of typically what we do. Well, 100 Mayors Who Care is designed to change that. The idea is quite simple, and you heard me talk about it a little bit yesterday. In about 2 minutes, you're going to hear from 3 Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit organizations. Representatives from these groups will deliver a 3-minute pitch. It's going to be timed, it's going to be quick. And my sincere thanks to Mayor Bowser and her team for helping us meet and introduce us to these 3 deserving nonprofits. Now, they're going to give a straightforward pitch. No slides, no graphics, just the spoken word. And each 3-minute pitch will be followed by 2 minutes of questions and answers by 4 mayors that I'll introduce in just a moment. Now, after we've heard from all 3 nonprofits, attendees, all of you here, mayors, business council members, supporters, staff, whoever it might be, are immediately asked to vote for one winner using the Conference of Mayors app. Does everybody have the app downloaded on their phone? Did not sound great. Does everybody have the app loaded on their phone? All right, fantastic. That's really key to this whole thing. If you take a look at the screen behind me, you'll see just how easy it is to open up the United States Conference of Mayors app, find the Mayors and Business Leaders Plenary session, click that, and then tap on the vote button at the bottom of the screen. It is literally that easy. Now, you're not going to be able to do it until the conclusion of all 3 pitches. And then we'll be able to tabulate the results, and in just a minute or 2, we will announce the winner. Everybody got the plan? All right. Now here comes the really fun part, and this is the part that I would ask you to consider. This is the powerful part that really makes this work. Everyone in this room, mayors, business partners, and staff, is invited to contribute $100 to the winning nonprofit. There's absolutely no obligation. If you vote, it doesn't mean you're locked in. We're not going to call and hound you. Or we may. I'm just kidding, we won't. But we would like as many of you as possible to contribute, and you can absolutely pay through the app. We're trying to make this as easy as possible. And the powerful thing about this is that the donations multiply. I was just backstage with these nonprofit folks, and if just 50 of you participate, they're going to walk away with $5,000. If 100 participate, $100,000. $10,000. If 25, of course, $25,000 for just a few minutes of work. And you could tell by their reaction that is certainly something that excited them. So before we introduce our 3 nonprofit presenters, let me welcome 4 mayors who have volunteered to help with this Q&A portion. These are great friends, and I really appreciate them doing this for me. You know all of them, I think. But first, let me introduce the mayor of the great city of Augusta, Georgia, my friend Hardy Davis. Hardy, come on out. Now listen, clap for Hardy like you want tickets to the Masters. Hardy Davis. Right there, you're good to go. Our next mayor is a newer mayor from Findlay, Ohio, my good friend Christina Murrin. Christina. The next mayor is a mayor who, he's from Minneapolis. He's a mayor of Minneapolis, but that's not what is really cool. What is really cool is that he spent most of his college years living in Rochester Hills, which is why I like him a lot. His name is Jacob Fry. He's the great mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Jacob Fry. And finally, from the city of Westland, only about 30 minutes from Rochester Hills, a great mayor, has been mayor for about 13 years, longtime supporter and leader in this conference, Mayor Bill Wild from the city of Westland. So thank you, the 4 of you, for joining us. They're going to ask questions. We said backstage this is like a Shark Tank, but without the sharks. It's more like a koi pond. So we're going to try to be gentle with our presenters today. Now, thank you for joining us for this. Like I said, I want to now get to the part where we introduce some nervous folks backstage who are excited to talk about their passion. First, Washington-based nonprofit presenter will be from the Recreation Wish List Committee. And their founder will present. Her name is Cora Masters Berry. Let's give her a warm U.S. Conference of Mayors welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Cora Masters Berry. I'm the founder of the Southeast Tennyson Learning Center and the Recreation Wish List Committee. And what we do in a nutshell is save lives. I was thinking, how can I put all this in 3 minutes? So I went to the end, which is that's what we do, that's what we've done, that's what we continue to do. We were founded out of the leftover inaugural funds of my late husband, Marion Berry, about 25 years ago. It was a little mom and pop. I watched on television, they were cutting the funds for recreation all over the city. in the community where we live, which would be in California, Compton, maybe Harlem, underserved communities, recreation is not a matter of leisure activity. In many cases, it's a matter of life and death. To make a very long story short, we founded the Recreation Wish List Committee to give them your wishes that you could have for our kids. And we built a $55 million facility called the Southeast Tennis and Learning Center. And I'm gonna give you a minute to applaud for that. Mom and pop, 10 people, $55 million building that houses a state-of-the-art tennis facility and school. The motto of our organization is tennis is the hook, but education is the key. So we have a whole program there that provides all that children need in addition to tennis: tutoring, computer literacy, STEM, STEAM, sewing. And what we have seen, and we just celebrated our 25th year, over 50 of our kids have gone to college on a full ride scholarship. Over 500 of our kids have gone to college on just a regular academic scholarship. But the most important thing that we have done is we have literally saved lives. I always say I wanted to change the trajectory of the 20,000 children that have come before us, but we not only changed their trajectory, but we have brought them under a tent that gave them a different way to go. I never knew, that was not my vision. My vision was to get them off the street, give them a tennis racket, help them with their homework, and hope they'll do right. But it turned much bigger because my vision was taken over by God. And so my little vision turned into this, and I am so proud to say that this year we are graduating 5 kids, and between those 5 kids that are graduating, all 5 of them have gotten more than 5 scholarship offers to go to college on a full ride, no debt. So when I look at the kind of funds that this would be, this would come under the category of unrestricted funds. Okay? So what you would do is you could help us save lives with kids who need transportation, who need supplements in their homes, so that they can come to the center and we can wrap our arms around them and help them have another life. And I'm so proud of what we've done, and I'm so sorry I didn't have a chance to tell you the next 40 minutes of my life story. Thank you.
Ms. Masters, that's an incredible story. We've heard the adage that it takes a village to raise a child. It sounds like you're doing that and saving lives. Tell us about your target audience. How many children or teenagers you're serving on an annual basis?
Our demographic is from 3 to 17 years old. The children come from the community. We average about 175 children on a daily basis, thanks to grants like OSSI. The unrestricted funds allow us to do things that restricted funds don't allow us to do. But our target audience is the community in which the kids come from.
On average, how many years are the students with you? Is it kind of 1 year or multiple?
Okay, so that's a very good question. When I first started, my eyes, you get very enthusiastic and idealistic, and I wanted to keep the kids with me for the end. On the average, I would say about 60% of the children who start with us finish with us. Some leave, come back, and then honestly, we lose some. I mean, we've turned on the television and seen a few of the kids who've come through us either didn't make it or they're in prison. So we have so that's the answer.
Ms. Masters, you've been working at this program for a while, and you've had kids graduate from the program, then graduate from college. I'd like to hear some of the success stories post-college. What are they doing now?
Well, that's everything. Not one of them, I know my coaches will be very upset with me, but not one of them ended college playing tennis. They used tennis to go to college. So they've been everything you can be: doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs. But we also have them going full circle. The director right now of the Southeast Tennis and Learning Center is 26 years old, and she started there when she was 8.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Masters.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, y'all got the hang of this? You've met one great nonprofit. Let me introduce you to the next. Our next presenter is BJ Page, the Executive Director of Run, Hope, Work. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Good morning, mayors. How's everybody doing? I know I said Run, Hope, Work, and I hopped up the stairs. I'm excited to be here, to be in front of everybody to talk about what Run, Hope, Work does and what we represent. Run, Hope, Work. We serve youth and young adults in the Washington, D.C. area, ages 20 to 24. Some of the most under-approached youth in Washington, D.C. Today, I just want you to think about this and just walk this story with me. What type of name is Run, Hope, Work? To me, it's pretty simple. Every morning on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m., we're running to get the body going. When we get back, 8 a.m., is the hope. We do a mindful meditation. Some of them never even heard of meditation. Then we get ready for the work portion. The work portion is where we get them certifications in drywall, painting, glazing, flooring, the building trades, in the construction field. I'm sure at least half the cities here, that's the most high demand jobs in your city. That is a life-changing moment for these youth and young adults. Let's just do a 12-month back approach. In the last 12 months alone, each cohort, which is 15 participants per cohort, we have about a 85% closing rate. To us, closing is getting them to work, getting them the certifications. 23 right now are working, taking care of their family, something that they can have for the rest of their life. You can't take these certifications away. But without Run, Hope, Work, they never would have seen it. Sadly, 3 of those participants are right now incarcerated. And worse, 2 in the last 12 months are no longer with us at all. They were murdered. The reason why I wanted to come up and say that, because some of you probably wouldn't, is because I want you to hear if we had a little more help. We just started in 2014. If we had a little more help with a little more funding, we would definitely have true wraparound services. True wraparound services with those funds. And I'm quite sure that the 3 that are in jail and the 2 that are no longer with us would have had a better chance of that not happening because we would have had the time, funds, and the staff to fully wrap our arms around them. And I know I can't say that that wouldn't have happened, but because of the family organization that I represent, I'm quite sure that we would have had our hands on them at some point in time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And this is Run, Hope, Work.
So thank you, BJ, for doing this work, and we can see your passion, and we can tell that you're a great role model for the children that you're working with.
Thank you.
So you said if you just had a little bit more help. So if the mayors choose your organization today for this grant, how are you going to use that money?
It would probably be immediately for some type of outreach for staffing. We have a lot of volunteers, but the volunteers are slim to none because of money. We all know we're in the business of people. And people will help you for a week or 2. So with that money, we'll be able to fund some staffing.
Thank you. BJ, what's your staffing look like today? How many paid staff members do you have and volunteers?
The key word on that is paid. Paid staff members, we have 4. Volunteers, it changes throughout the year. In the summertime, we get more help with our 5K. So it can range from anywhere from 10 to 25, depending on what we got going on.
How far are they running and how fast are they going?
Great question. So we start off with a mile, then 1.5, then 3. Then we prepare them for our annual 5K. Every one of them come to our 5K. It's called Run for a Better Life for Anti-Gun Violence. So it's different. Some of them are real fast, then some of them are like, bro, come on.
So similar question actually to the one I asked last time, but when you're looking at how long are folks kind of in your organization to be able to receive those certifications?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer it in two parts. To be in the organization, you're never out. The goal is for them to be a part of us. Just walking backstage, one of the participants called me and said, I'm on my way to the interview. He's already out the program, but he's in the family. But the second piece is they're with us for the 4 months for the certification.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Give a
guys.
round of
Thank you,
applause.
thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless.
All right, well, our last presenter is another great and very unique and different organization from what you've seen already. It is led by C. Brian Williams, the founder and executive director of STEP Africa. Let's give C. Brian Williams a big round of applause.
Good morning. So I am C. Brian Williams, founder and executive director of STEP Africa, Washington, D.C.'s largest African-American arts organization and our city's one and only cultural ambassador. STEP Africa is the first professional company in the world to harness, and we have harnessed the dance tradition of stepping as a tool for community engagement, leadership development in youth, and cultural exchange all across the world for more than 25 years. STEP Africa defines stepping as a percussive art form created by African American fraternities and sororities in which the body becomes an instrument. And each year, my company of 15 talented full-time artists directly engages nearly 23,000 students from pre-K to high school seniors in every corner of our city. And every moment that we can, we stress the importance of school and education because my artists are also college graduates, and we want every student to at least know about the options provided by a college education. Now, STEP Africa's award-winning arts education programs also excite and empower young people to embody our guiding principles of teamwork, commitment, and discipline, both on and off the stage. Students experience teamwork through learning and creating routines along with their peers. They see how hard it is to create consensus and organize individuals together for a common purpose. And we think it's good for them to learn those skills early in life. They also experience commitment through countless hours of rehearsal to perfect their performance, hone their individual power, and develop their skills as artists. And they experience discipline as they see that failure is not an option with STEP Africa and that quitting is the only mistake they can ultimately make. So there's so many good lessons that can come through the learning and sharing of this art form, really any art form. And STEP Africa, with the support of Washington, D.C., has really developed techniques and programs that serve all children in unique and exciting ways. This year, STEP Africa is preparing to leave our hometown for a national tour to over 50 cities, maybe some of yours, hopefully, across America. And everywhere we go, we will not only perform, but take time to connect and serve local communities. Our latest production is called Drum Folk. We'll make our world premiere at Penn State University and State College, PA, before heading out to Champaign-Urbana, Minneapolis, Boston, Seattle, Wilmington, and a 3-week run in Broadway's legendary theater district. So we're doing the work, and even though we are DC-based, we believe intensely in serving our local community, we also have a very national and international presence. I see I have 2 seconds, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Woo!
First of all, I would love to have you come to Findlay, Marathon Center for Performing Arts, so
Yes.
we'll be in touch.
Okay.
Second of all, as you are going into the schools, about what is the time frame when you're spending time in the school? Is it a 1-hour program? Is it after school or during the day? What does that look like?
So we have a variety of ways to serve children. So even though we do all this touring around the world, I have a team of teaching artists that are based here in Washington, D.C., that are basically in a school doing a master class or a workshop every single day of the year. So we can maintain our local presence while still serving the rest of the world. So we can do residencies 2 times a week in a school. We can do our summer camp, which is 5 intensive days. We can do a long-term residency with students from August all the way through the end of the year. It just depends on student capability and time, because of course they're students, they have to do the other work, and so we try to fit in and make sure that arts is a part of their lives as well.
Thank you.
Brian?
Yes.
I know funding's tough for everybody, but let's pretend that funding wasn't
Yeah.
an obstacle. Where would you see your organization a year from now, 5 years, 10 years down the road?
With no funding restriction? I can't even imagine that, actually, but...
Let's pretend funding's not a problem, because I heard Mayor Barnett is going to match every dollar that we raise here today.
Let's give him a hand.
So funding shouldn't be a problem.
Well, you know, funding is a very challenging, for any nonprofit, without all the 3 or 2 other organizations you saw, that's a challenge. But, you know, for us, you know, we're in the business of creating opportunities for artists in particular. So providing a living and great wage to our artists allows them to serve the community even better. So that would probably be my major focus, is investing in the human resources. We're glad to be able to provide full-time work to artists, which is very hard to do for many arts organizations across the country. So I would even increase our investment in our artists so that they can serve the community in great and exciting ways.
Final question, Brian. The student.
Oh, backstage. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Voice wanted to do that to Hardy.
No tickets for
He
you.
actually had a minute left. I just wanted to do that. Well, listen, first of all, can we get another round of applause for all 3 presenters? I can tell you that they're a little bit nervous back there. So now we need to do this quickly because we want to try and stay on schedule today, but this is really important. I would ask all of you now to grab your phone as you see the instructions behind me to open up your app to the Thursday morning Mayors and Business Leaders Plenary Breakfast Session. You'll see a place to vote at the bottom of that page. Tap it and the ballot should open up. Everybody seeing that? That's good. I heard one yes. That's good. Please vote for the one nonprofit pitch that you liked best. And just so you know, as you're considering that vote, we're getting these votes in real time and should have them tabulated in about 2.5 minutes, so just bear with us here briefly. But you'll be able to make your donation anytime. You know, we'd prefer you'd make it anytime now in the next, before you leave Washington, before tomorrow afternoon, ideally. You don't have to do it immediately, but if you do it before you leave, that would be fantastic. And you're actually going to be making the donation to the Conference of Mayors, and the Conference of Mayors will then write a check to the winning nonprofit. And I guess I just would say, as you're doing this, and hopefully you're voting right now, you know, this, to me, this is important. This is what we're about. This is about being an organization that reaches out back into the community. And I think, you know, we all come from communities where there's lots of folks like that working really hard to make our communities vibrant places. I know each of you probably have nonprofits that are doing the same exact things, making our jobs a little bit easier in our communities, quality of life a little bit higher. So we really want to support them. And I think the message coming from this, as I said earlier, is not that we're just going to come in and take, but we want to give back. So as we're waiting for those results, which are going to be delivered here in just a minute, just real quickly to the mayors, your impression of this, what you just saw, and this performance and this process. Anyone?
President Barnett, it clearly is a picture of us of incredible work being done across this country. These nonprofits are doing amazing things. As someone who enjoys all of what they are doing, from helping young people to dancing to the buildings and trades, this is what America is about. This is what cities are about, and I think kudos to you and the U.S. Conference of Mayors for bringing this to us.
I agree. I think it's wonderful to see that the community engaging and recognizing the different ways to get young people engaged in their community, that having a balanced life and being successful can be supported by many different ways, you know, by making sure that you're healthy and active, by finding a passion for the arts, by, you know, I'm a tennis player, so, you know, getting active in those different organizations, and that it takes a community to wrap around people to step up. And as mayors, we can't be everything to everybody, but we can identify the people that can be.
As mayors, we talk about partnership so much to the point it becomes obnoxious. But the truth is that you can't do it as the public sector, as a municipality on your own. You know, you got to work with the private sector. You have to work with the nonprofits. And when I was listening to some of the extraordinary efforts that are right now underway, you know, it's heartening. It's heartening because when you combine those different facets of governance and nonprofits, you can really get a whole lot done.
Yeah. Mayor, just real quick, thank you for starting this initiative. You know, one of the things I heard you say it several times is that, you know, as the mayors come into towns, when we leave, we want to leave a little bit of something behind. You know, as the mayor had mentioned, we depend on the nonprofits in our community. We can't do it all. All mayors across America have stretched budgets, so we really depend on these folks. So thank you for bringing it to the forefront here at the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
Yeah, well, listen, the thank you is to all of you who are participating. I want to thank Javier and Eugene from the co-chairs of our business council who contacted me and said that the business council wants to participate in this. And although the program's called 100 Mayors Who Cares, obviously the point of this is to get as much cash infused into these organizations as possible. I know it might seem a little bit awkward, feel a little bit like you know, offering time at church, and you know, I'm trying to see if anybody snuck out right about this time. But you know, this is really about who we are, isn't it? This is about showing that we've been blessed. Most of us have been extremely blessed to be in the positions we are, and this is about giving back. So this is all right. This is where I try not to Steve Harvey this thing and.
Steve Harvey.
Do the right thing. Will you do me one favor as we close? You give a round of applause to these mayors that helped me out up here today. Thank you, guys. Just in closing, before I announce the winner, don't forget the voting is now closed, but the donations can continue both today, tonight, and into tomorrow. And I just would encourage you, because what will happen is at the end when we close off this collection period, we're going to give the check to Mayor Bowser, and she'll be able to deliver it to the nonprofit. So really, it's a way for the local mayor to take the blessing of this organization right to her community. So the winner of the first 100 Mayors Who Care is BJ Page, the Executive Director of Run, Hope, Work. BJ, come on out here. The guy with the boot has to run out here.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you and just keep the work going in your cities, because this is what it's all about. God bless.
Thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to donate. And if you know someone, a mayor who wasn't here, tell them about this and tell them that they can participate as well. This will conclude our breakfast session. This meeting is adjourned. Head on out to the work sessions. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you a little bit later today.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please exit the ballroom at this time so the House may reset for the morning plenary. Please exit the ballroom at this time. Thank you for your cooperation.